It's me again. Just wanted to check, how are people doing on their connections? Who already has 10? Who already has 10? Who has 20? Oh, come on. We're here for a while. Get to know each other. Now, look, it's after lunch, and most people tend to slow things down. But here at High Tech, we wanted to speed things up. So I've got Marcelo here to give us an interesting session here that's going to help move us quickly along through the rest of the day. Marcelo.
How are you guys doing? Oh, good, good, good. You know, Omar told us that we are the architects of the future. So let me tell you something, that takes a lot of energy. So how are we doing? Hey, great, great. So extremely excited about this fireside chat now, and where we're going to talk about accelerating diversity. We're going to talk about Formula One. How many Formula One fans do we have? Oh, many, that's great. So as you know, despite being a sport in where women and men can actually compete, no woman has participated in Formula One since the 1970s. I'm really excited about introducing an individual that is transforming that. She's breaking barriers as the first female driver from Latin America to compete internationally in Formula racing. So I think you need to fasten your seatbelts now. And get ready to hear how this amazing woman is accelerating diversity and inclusion in Formula racing. Please give a warm round of applause to welcome Maite Caceres. Please, have a seat.
Hey everyone, hola a todos.
Wow, this is much more comfortable than the seat in your car, I guess, right?
Yes, I have to say, even if it's like a seat fit with my body and everything, this is much comfortable.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Maite, for being with us today. We're all excited about hearing your story. So you have such an amazing story. I never had such a beautiful breakfast as the breakfast we have this morning. Have so many things to say. Tell us about you.
Well, my story is a little bit funny, how I started. When I was 6 years old, I started to tell my parents that I wanted to get into motorsports, that I wanted to race cars. The funny part is my father is a rally driver, and my brother he was a Formula One test driver for Minardi, and he raced in Europe. And when I told them that I wanted to race, they said no. Like, absolutely no, because it was a dangerous sport, it was difficult financially, and they didn't let me race until I was 17 years old, and I fight like 10 years telling them like I got good grades, and I did this exam, and I started to not go to birthdays of my friends, like parties that they were doing, just to try to say like, I'm working myself to get into motorsports. And when I met Fernando Alonso, he was a great inspiration for me. Yes, Fernando fan. I was such a fan of him, and I talked to him when I was like 16 years old, and I told him like, I want to be like you, I want to be a race car driver, but my parents don't let me. And he told me like something that, it was like the thing that I needed to tell my parents, that is, you need to work hard. This is hard for me, for everyone, and that made like la luz in my mind. That made me say, okay. And I stood up with my parents and I told him like, why my brother can do it and I cannot. And they looked at each other and they were like, okay, Maite really likes motorsports. She really wants to race. And yeah, that's the story how it started.
Great. I mean, how was the reaction from your parents? I know it was a different reaction from your dad and your mom.
Yes, my mom, she doesn't like that I do racing. She gets super upset, not upset, but sad because she's like, I know how much effort you put into motorsports, and sometimes happens to you that it's not your mistakes, that you have a bad race because it's such a mechanical issue or something like it. But she's super supportive. I had to say that they are both, even if they didn't want me to race, they're now the #1 fans. Yeah, and my parents he loves it, but he's like scared for me.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Maite, you are from Uruguay, and you know, a Uruguaya. We should have mate here, you know.
Yeah, that should be like a talk between us.
I miss that, you know. I miss that. Yeah. Uruguay. When I talk to people from Uruguay, you are like an icon for your, you know, compatriotas. So how do you feel about that?
For me, it's really an honor. I started racing, first of all, in the United States in 2022. That it was my second year in motorsports. And I found that there was a lot of Uruguayan people here in the States, and they drove like 5 hours to see my races, 5 hours like going and back. So
Wow.
they are really supported about it, and I love that they have that passion between our people. But I also found super interested the amount of support from the Latin community. Really, I raced in Texas with the F1 Academy, and I couldn't believe how much people from Mexico, Colombia, Venezuela, I mean everywhere, Puerto Rico, they came with the flag, and they asked me like, can you sign it? And I'm like, wow, that's a really honor, because it's not my flag. And they were like, Maite, you are from Latin America, please, you are like representing us. And I felt that super, super at home, even if I wasn't.
Excellent, excellent. So Maite, you are the first Latin American female driver that got to the podium in the US, right? And we're following you lately. Great results. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell us about the last few weeks, I would say, right?
Yes, well, the last few weeks I started in the F4 US Championship, and well, it's male dominant sports, still motorsports, and I'm on a category that I'm the only woman. And yeah, the first part of the weekend, we came with the team as an objective, okay, we are going for a top 5, get some points and everything, and then we found ourselves that we were super competitive. And I got 2 podiums out of 3 races, and we were super happy of how the pace, thank you. We were super happy of how the pace was going, really fighting for the win. I lost the win in the last lap. There are some mistakes that I have to blame myself, because the team were amazing that same weekend. But yeah, it's really an honor to be the first Uruguayan girl, female driver, to make a podium in the US, but also as a Latin American, it's also honor. And yeah, it was super good to start the championship like that, and that put us in 3rd in the championship in the standings, and we are less than 10 points from the lead. So now looking ahead, we have 5 race weekends, 15 races, and we have the fight for the win.
Excellent. You will win. We can see that. I do remember this. This was not, you know, I'm not good following questions, right? But when we talk during the interview for the book, you mentioned something around your male colleagues not being so nice. Mm-hmm. So, do you want to share any of those stories with us?
Yes, at the beginning of the sports, when I started, even if it was 5 years ago, there wasn't many representation of women in the sports, in Uruguay specifically. I think I was still one of the only ones in that category. And the people at the beginning, as my father was a race car driver and my brother also, they were like super supportive, like, Maite, yes, it's amazing you're here, like following the lead of your surname and everything. And when I started to compete and be really competitive and started winning to that men's, they didn't like it, and they were like having unsportive maneuvers and getting me off track. And I was like, is this something about me? Because I don't see like they do it to another colleagues or to another drivers. It was something about I was the only woman. And once you start, everyone like at the beginning was like, yeah, good, saying hi. And when I started winning, they were like not talking to me and telling bad comments. So I see that there's a thing that is changing now, 5 years after. There's not so much that mindset on the sport, and that is a really good thing. I always say, like, it's not that tomorrow there's going to be a female driver in Formula One, like now, next year. But it's good that we are building our base. We are doing some changes to that, and it's a process that it has to be doing because they do it for a lot of time. So now we have to keep it up. And yeah, it's good to see that the F1 Academy is a really good category that is now building for that female art racing. And now you see the karting places and you see like 5 female drivers, 10, maybe more. And I think are the good steps that we are doing forward.
You started a movement.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. You know, here we have many people working in technology, and technology is moving at a very fast pace. And you are in a sport that requires to make decisions in a matter of microseconds, right? And also Formula One drivers and the team are very much informed by data. But when you're in the car at 250, 260 kilometers per hour, how do you balance making decisions with data and making decisions with what you feel is the right thing to do?
Well, usually with engineers, we work beforehand with the data. The telemetry is what we call when we see like how much throttle input or braking, and this like a computer of what you exactly do to your car. So I always say, when we look at data, is you cannot lie of what you did. Like, yeah, I went flat on that corner. No, you didn't. You have it on the data. With technology, you cannot lie. It's everything there in detail. So we work with engineers and once you are on the car, okay, you go like through your mental notes and you say, okay, I was braking like super early. I need to brake later because I see the comparison with my teammates sometime. And sometimes you say, okay, this is what I need to do. This is what the data said. But when you're out there, you have some other factors like tire degradation, what you feel the car, or maybe the car is running low of fuel and you don't have the data to tell you that exactly. So you need to manage yourself in what you feel. And maybe that is a reward because you get to finish the race. So there are some kind of choices that you need to make that, yeah, the data helps a lot, but you also are like the data of the car that you are driving it. So it's a little bit of balance. We also prepare a lot the race weekends with a race simulator, with VR and everything. We have like a especially cockpit and something when we play on a software that is on our computers with a track, with the car, with the specification of the car, if we want more fuel, if we want less fuel. Even I practice racing techniques with AI.
Wow, AI.
Yes.
Is that a new topic or what?
Yeah, but it's really interesting that you can do that, reproduce a race whenever you want without having like to call your friends like, hey, can you join in on the session online? And you just put it and you race with other drivers artificially, yeah.
Let me ask you a different question, something we discussed during breakfast this morning. We're talking about the sport and how sponsors help athletes like you. And you also share something about when things go well, you get feedback in one specific way. When things don't go well, there is a different supply chain for that feedback. So can you give us a little bit of context on that?
Yes, we were speaking about the win that I lost on that last lap. That usually, when it's your fault, people like tend to do it. It's your fault. It's not like a team. But when you win, it's a team that it wins. You know, yes, something like that. And usually the feedback that you're talking about is when you have a bad race, you have your phone ringing and you don't want to answer because you know there is some sponsors that doesn't like it and everything. It's always like the drivers, how they, even if it's a mechanical issue or you don't know that the car is not functioning well and you have like a bad result of a race, and they see only like the sheet with you P50, let's say something like that, position 50. And you say, okay, yes, the car wasn't handling us how I used to, or I have some tire management that it wasn't right and the tires overheat. But you cannot explain that to everyone. So they are going to look at the results. So that is one of the bad things about the sports, that it's not, everything goes through you, even if it's not your fault. And teamwork doesn't apply here.
How do you feel about that?
It's something that I'm used to. You know, it's when we talk about the sports with my parents when I was starting, it's what they told me. It's like it's a super lonely sports in every way because you are competing. Even if you have a teammate, you don't race with him. Like you are against each other. Even you have more like a thing that you win to your teammate is better than to everyone else. Sometimes when you are fighting for P5 and P6, position 5 and position 6, but you win your teammate. That is it. And what teams are looking for, because you need to deal with their contract for next year. That happens a lot in Formula One also. But yeah, it's something that we are used to, and a loneliness that we have to get into. But I like the team management when things goes well and people wants to improve. I think the energy is put it there.
Excellent, excellent. I'm wondering, maybe people here are wondering, how is a day on your life?
Well, that is funny because it changes a lot. When we travel everywhere, we have to change our schedules, and I always say, like, don't ask me where I'm going to be tomorrow or next week because I probably won't know. It's difficult to plan ahead and everything because we are constantly moving. But a day in my life is just to wake up, go to the train, gym. We usually do like the cardiovascular part on the morning, then go to the team shop when we do the racing simulation with a simulator, or talk to our engineer. Let's see what they're doing to the car. Now I'm more into the mechanical side, so I'm trying to learn more about how the car handles and how to get it repaired and where the parts are. And then, yeah, sometimes I have to study. Sometimes it's usually I'm behind on schoolwork and everything. and then train again, go to the gym. I also do my management of my career. So I usually get to see contracts or activities that I have, talk to sponsors to how the race is going. My race preparation, and then if I have a race coming up, I need to do the preparations just to study the track or see how much how many people is going to get in, and study a little bit about their driving.
How is the relationship with your father? I mean, he's a sort of your manager, right? And also your dad. So how does it work?
Also, yeah, he's also my manager. It has been a rough couple of years in that sector because we need to divide ourselves. Sometimes when we go, yeah, it's it's my dad, it's Papa, or it's my manager, because if not, I'm not going to answer. Yeah, it goes like that, and it's trying and error, in what works between us, because obviously when we are getting started, it's all good. You're starting, but when things got a little bit harder, when sponsors are in, the relationship's a little bit tough, because sometimes you need to speak things that you don't like, or you don't want to do that, and he says, no, but it's best for you. And you're like, yeah, but no. And you need to make your point clear, but you also need to listen to him. And I don't know if everyone happens, but I'm a little, I don't want to follow, like my dad told me that you have to do this, and I'm like, no. So yeah, but we enjoy it, because he knows the passion that I have, and he has the same passion, and it's something nice to share with your dad.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure he's very proud of you.
Yes, he is. He's super good. I love him really, because he has been such a support this couple of years that I couldn't do it without him.
Excellent, excellent. Does mom play any role when conversations are tough, or?
Yes, yes, she's like, we need her. We need her to everything go well. Sometimes the mother like comes each way, and it's like the middle point in each argument. But she also helps a lot with the other part of racing, sometimes to help me get a little bit more organized when we have a lot of traveling. She's in Miami now. Well, my parents live in Uruguay, I had to say that. And she's in Miami waiting for me now. So she was like super supportive, like, yay, Maite, yes, I wait for you. And she's going with me to the next race. So she's a little nervous now.
Excellent. Since you mentioned Miami, I know you have plans to study, you were talking about changing sort of careers. Tell us about that. What are the plans for Maite? Not Maite the driver, Maite.
Maite, just not the driver. She had a passion when she was also little, that it was to study chemical engineering. I always loved it, because I was such a chemical fan and everything, and I started that career on Barcelona in 2022. But yeah, it was everything going well until I had to travel a lot to the US back from Spain, and it was difficult to go through the classes, even if it was online, like every theoretical, the practical part that you need in laboratory and practice, it wasn't something that I needed to do, and I cannot get that behind. So I had to choose between racing and chemical engineer. My parents didn't like that decision, but I had to tell it. And yeah, I always want to study something, to have something in my pocket. So yeah, this year we are starting in financial. It's something different, I know, but I think it's something that I want to know and to know more about it, because it's also that will help you in your future, in my career as well. And I will do the chemical engineer for sure when I'm older, maybe retired from racing.
That will be many, many, many years into the future.
Yes, I'm hoping.
What do you
mean?
You may be able to build your own Formula One team.
That would be awesome, and that would be
awesome,
really
right?
great. That would be really great. But for now, I want to be the driver.
What would be winning big for you, right?
What, sorry?
What would be a big win for you in your career?
Well, I have like small objectives that I think they're my wins, like get my win in my first race in Formula Cars internationally will be that, absolutely. But to become a champion of a championship here will be like one of my dreams. Will help so much in the years that we are looking for. Obviously, I want to reach Formula One. There's also a goal to IndyCar. I think that is the maximum of the category of motorsports, and I want to feel what that speed looks like, and also la presión, the pressure that you feel when you are on that high level, racing for a team, and it's one of the top. And sometimes you want to to see how it is and how can I put my seed there. And I also want to deliver a message to girls that is to follow your dreams. It's never too late. That is one of the things that I have in mind, because when I was 17 years old, they told me you cannot become a Formula driver, you cannot race in Formula One. And last year I had the opportunity to race in the Formula One Academy, racing in a, thank you.
Just for you to know, getting into the Formula One Academy is a big, super big thing.
And I was racing in the same weekend as Formula One in Austin, Texas. And I was surprised by that world. It was a big step for me because I was coming just from 1 year of Formula cars. So yeah, it was a massive thing. And this year I took it to get experience and to jump again next year. And yeah, it was an amazing time. And is that just follow your dreams, work hard for it, like Fernando Alonso said. It's really that. It's what you need. Sometimes it's luck, it's opportunity, be at the right time, the right place, yes, but make contacts, talk to people, tell them about your dream, because you never know where you are going to meet. And that was my mentality when I was starting, and now here we are.
So Maite, I'm going now to one of the questions I didn't tell you. I always do this in the interviews. And
you never, the questions that you did, you didn't tell me.
No, none of them. Yeah, I know. I told you. But let's play this together. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, right? And just imagine something. Listen to my voice here. You're not going to fall asleep, I promise you. One day, there will be a last race, right? And that day, you will win, as always. You will be at the podium, first place, celebrating, Pommery, big time. And you go to the locker room, right? And you will set down your helmet maybe for the last time. At that moment, you look behind all you did. What do you want to see?
First of all, I want to see, I want to look at this time, how I started, how the years went by, the effort that my parents did. It makes sense, all the effort that they did, all my effort that I do every day is that I feel how do you say, como la tranquilidad. Mm-hmm. La tranquilidad de poder ver, I'm sorry that I'm going to say something in Spanish. Quiero ver que todo el esfuerzo de mis padres y el mío haya valido la pena y que haya sido una carrera de emoción y también de poder disfrutarlo juntos. Creo que eso es lo más importante. O sea, por más que muchos logros que puedas obtener, por más de a lot of trophies that you can have, to feel that tranquilidad de que diste todo y que cumpliste tu sueño, que al fin y al cabo yo pienso en eso y es un poco cumplir tu sueño. Y de toda la gente que te apoya, me admiro mucho.
Muchas gracias. I'm one of the ones that cry also. Don't get me started.
Sí, pero de toda la gente que hace un esfuerzo, que al fin y al cabo you see it and you say, okay, they're doing so much for me, and I'm just like following my dream, and they do it because they want you to succeed and everything. And I want to look back and see them that they're also happy with it and proud of all the hard work that they put into my career. That will make me like, okay, yeah, I'm ready to retire.
You will be ready. You will have done so many things, Maite. So, listen, I think I'm going to leave 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes for questions, and then we have a surprise also for all the high-tech community. But I'm going to open up for questions now from the audience, which I can see here a hand. Yes, right? Yes.
Hi.
Oh, we have a microphone there, I think. Yeah. Sorry, I cannot see from here that much, so please, if you want to ask a question, just
Can you hear me? Oh, great.
queue up over there.
Okay, Maite, it was such a pleasure. I met you yesterday. You're absolutely phenomenal. You have an infectious personality, very smart. I'm really proud of you. I want to hold back the tears because this is so emotional. But I wanted to understand, being in that competitive industry and Latina, female, all the rest, how do you mentally, spiritually, all of those things, what's your preparation practice? Because I have to think, you talk about working out, you talk about the research that you do, but really curious about what's your practice right before competition?
Well, I have a psychological coach coaching me in all of this because it's like a different field that you're coming each year. I'm going up the ladder, so each time it's harder to know how to prepare to this. I think the mental part is one of the most important parts now in motorsports, even though it's really physical sport. You need to have a lot of strength and everything. The steering wheel, it's heavy. The G's that you have in your neck, they're super hard to support in fast corners. To put you like in your mind, if you don't have the physical abilities to maintain the race, you're not going fast. Like, you need to struggle a lot on it. And Formula One drivers get out of the car and you see it well, but they're tired, and sometimes they do comments about it on some specific races, like Qatar last year, if someone look at it. Yeah, that is most the physical part that we train, but mentally we also prepare. As women, we have like physiological, like we have less strength than men, so we have to work a little bit harder on that side. And mentally, yes, it's just prepare in which areas you are going to get better. Sometimes I need to practice more my race starts, but I don't have the opportunity to get on a car, because that is something about motorsports. You only get like one chance. You go to the race weekend, you have 2 practice sessions qualifying, and you are ready to race. And so you have to have like the mindset that you want to approach. Practicing the simulator, that is one of the things. But also one of the things that you mentioned, being a woman as a Latin American driver and everything, there is something that you don't prepare, and it's going to the field with all men, and the stares that you have, the comments that you hear, like you overhear. Sometimes it's part of that race weekend. I usually get mad at it, but I try not to look at it, because if not, you're letting them win and say these things about you. I just shut their mouth in race, like when I get the podium or something like that. Yes, as women, we are there, and we are going to get those comments, and you're just going through it, and don't listen to them. You're welcome. Thank you for the question.
There is another question coming up.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Giovanna. I'm from IBM. And one thing that I love your story. Like, I'm super proud of you. It's amazing. It's not everyone that has a chance to talk to Fernando Alonso and hear from him that, you will need to work harder. I came here because I thought over there I would ask you, but maybe that was better. So I was thinking to myself, so you spend from age of 6 until age of 16 or 17 when you talk to Alonso to kind of go this extra mile about, I'll call face your parents and say, why can I not do it if my brother can do it, whatever. So if, one thing that comes to my mind is I see that what Alonso told you was kind of really a push for you. Could be like a coach, a mentor, or whatever you want to call. But what if you had not had that conversation, How can we work that inside ourselves as a woman or as a person to be the first to do anything? And I'm so glad that you are, because now anyone that want to race does not need to talk to Alonso anymore because they see you. Any girl that want to race, they have you as a model. They can see they can be it because you show them. So it's not only about you comment about your parents going after your dream. You have no idea how many dreams you're gonna open up the doors. So first, I would like to thank you for that.
Thank you.
And second, I would like to ask if there is anything that crossed your mind during those 10 years in which you were kind of trying and then maybe you give back and then you try again. What's in your mind? Is there anything you would like to share that maybe can help people that are struggling and maybe we not have the chance to talk to Fernando Alonso?
Thank you for your question, and super nice what you said. I didn't tell you, but between those 10 years, my parents were putting me in like 2 other sports. So I did like tennis, handball, hockey. I also did like singing classes, piano. I don't sing. No, I'm terrible. And they put me in everything that I could possibly have my mind in another topic, not into racing. So it's interesting that you mentioned that because it was that. It was a lot of years like of going into sport and saying, no, I'm bored. I don't want this. I want racing. I want to start karting. Please let me. And they were like, no, but you have to try handball. It's a different sport. You're going to love it. Nothing with an engine. No, there wasn't nothing with engine. And I think sometimes we tend to like say something as a parents. I think what we have chat with my parents is that they felt that was right, not put me into motorsports because it was a dangerous sport and it was super hard and they didn't want me to go into also a sport that is machista. How do you say this in English? Yeah, that is
Male-dominated sport.
Male-dominant sports, that it was going to be hard. And they thought, no, it's best for Maite to just try tennis. And no, it was my passion. You cannot fight when someone wants the passion and can put hours of work. I think you guys know when you are working on something that you like. I overheard like conversations of a lot of people telling them the amount of work they put for passion and how they love what they do. And even if sometimes you are not compensated now on what you're doing, but you are doing the formation and studying more just to be like up to date of the technology nowadays. I heard a lot of that. Is something that you're going to get that reward in the future. So I think that is the mindset that maybe as parents, as people, as personal individuals, to say like, no, I love this. And maybe it's not rewarding me now, maybe it's a lot of hard work, but if I love it, it's just pure passion.
No, that was great. And do you feel that each sport you try it out and then or each thing you try, like sing, piano, whatever, and then it was like another sign for you to reinforce for you to, try harder? Or it was something like I already knew, or I was just trying because I need to try?
No, yes, it was. I need to try harder because each time they were putting me like a lot of barriers. When I felt like they were loving that I got good grades and they want me to study, I went like fully into, I went fully into the grades. I had like, in Uruguay, it's out of 12. So I was like 11, 12, and I got an 11. They weren't like going, you need to get like 12. No. They were like with a 10, 9, they were like good. No, but I was like 11, 12, trying harder. Even I got some exams, international exams, and I was like, look at this, you know? And they were like saying, okay, maybe one day. But the day didn't came like in those 7, 10 years. But yeah, that was one of the motivations that I got. And once you are there, you want to try harder, like to see if one day. But I love the sport so much that I think I'm not biased on the topic.
No, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
We have a question from a virtual attendee. He says, you mentioned when you started winning, some colleagues started to confront you. What was your mindset when you used to keep going in that situation of isolation?
Sorry that.
Can you repeat the question?
A little bit louder.
Sorry, I'm a little short. You mentioned when you started winning, some colleagues started to confront you. What was your mindset? What was the mindset you used to keep going in that situation of isolation?
Well, my family has a great role there, but usually it was that I was making my dream real. Like, estaba haciendo mi sueño realidad y era lo único que me importaba. Así como hablo que es un deporte, that is a sport, that you are super lonely in the choices that you make. Cuando el equipo comete un error, igual es tu culpa. It's your blame when the teammate got a mistake or something because they only see the results, like as sponsors and everything. I think it's that same mindset. You just need to think of yourself, get your confidence back. You are winning, yes, but you have the isolation of the whole like paddock, let's say, of your colleagues and everything that you are racing. And sometimes the mindset is like, okay, this is what I want, this is my objective, I have a view of something in the future, I just need to keep working, and don't let those comments, the same as when you're a female driver and sometimes you overhear like, no, she's a woman, of course she's going to drive bad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We can get one more question.
Oh, sorry. No, you go. I already made one. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much, Maite. And it's a pleasure and it's an honor to hear your story, right? So I'm very pleased. And I would like to ask you, and by the way, my name is Orlando. I'm from Oracle, and I'm Venezuelan. So I would like to ask you, from your experience, right? I know that you might probably have some challenges to get where you got. And what changes would you like to see in the Formula One environment in order to encourage more diversity, right, I would say? Mm-hmm. So what do you think is going to be probably a good thing that they can change in order to, encourage that?
Thank you for your question, really. I think they're making a lot of changes, supporting women's. They have the Drivers Academy now, as you see it, and they are supporting a lot of female drivers, also supporting F1 Academy with one driver in the grid. That also helps a lot. But I think I think that it's still a lot of marketing on that side and not about pure racing. You've seen there's a lot of girls like rocking karting championships. They are doing, and I think it's not where the visibility is already high, that is F1. You need to support the little girls, and maybe they don't have the financial support to continue developing their career on Formula 4 because still there is not so much going on. When you're in F1 Academy or Formula 1 or in the highest level, Formula 3, for example, you have a lot of visibility, and for some reason she's there. She's getting support, she's going there. But what happened to the little girls that they need to start? The first things of the motorsports to develop her to get into Formula 1. I think that is one of the first things that could change. And also to show that you can not only be a racing driver, there is also other parts of like mechanics, engineers. I had women engineers in Formula 1 Academy. There's also PR, there's also financial, as Stephanie Carlin, you know. I think to show that also helps a lot without the marketing side, without the other part that we usually attend, the interviews. Usually there's a lot of media coming up on these categories. And sometimes we just want to race. We want engineer time. We want to see data analysis. We want to improve. We want to get better without the photos and etc.
Thank you very much. Maite Caceres,
Thank you.
young, talented, amazing woman, brave, la charrúa. Qué placer. But Maite didn't want to leave without helping high tech in a different way. She was very, very inspired about the High Tech Foundation and the commitment we have with the next generation of technology leaders. So she brought us a couple of gifts for us to make them part of the auction at the end of the year. So who would like to have a signed pair of racing gloves from the future Formula One champion? Who? Everyone. And who wants to have the helmet from the first Latina that is going to be the Formula One champion? Who? Everyone.
Thank you.
So we're going to have that opportunity. You will need to wait up until the gala dinner. That's the reason for you guys to attend. So Maite, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And she will send it here for us. Let me take a picture.
I have to say that it's really an honor to be here. Thanks for the invitation, Marcelo.
Thanks to you.
Really a pleasure. I met a lot of people here, and I'm really inspired by you. You guys are like something astronomical. Like I see what you talk about and everything, and I love this. I am a technology fan, so it's always to great hear about this. So thank you also for your time to listen about this. These are my racing gloves that you see in one of the pictures, I think, that I raced, got my first podium here in the US, so it's also really, really special. So I hope that whoever gets it enjoys as well. They're like, I raced with them, you can see it. They were white.
You can't stay seated. Come on. Gracias, Maite. Thank you very much.
Gracias.
Thanks, everyone.